Bushnell Phantom scope mount. In the previous video, I did a little bit of show and tell on the Weaver number 303 scope mount for the Colt. The Colt 357 or Trooper officer's model match. That mount was an alternative to having to drill and tap your frame for a new screw. This is kind of an outdated piece of equipment. This is the Bushnell Phantom scope mount. This is kind of a proprietary scope base. This scope base only works with the Bushnell Phantom scope. And there were two kind of scopes that Bushnell manufactured. They made a Bushnell Phantom and they made a Magnum Phantom, and they also made both of those in either a 1.3x or a 2.5x. This is the mount. These are the mounts that they made for the Phantom scope. These are the part numbers for the mounts, and these are the guns that they fit. This is the one for the Colt. So right on there you can see Bushnell Colt. The way this works is you would have to remove the rear sight, just like I was talking about in the previous video, and this screw here screws directly into the frame where your rear sight adjustment screw would screw into. However, you need to drill a hole through the frame for this screw. So in the end, what you have is both of these screws hold this mount down tight against the top of your frame. And to help hold these screws in place, you have a set screw here and here, and another little set screw here and here. And so once the screw is down and tightened, those set screws will kind of pinch in and help keep that screw in place. These two screws are for the scope. So the Bushnell Phantom scope actually has a rib with recesses in them, kind of like you would see on a rail, like on a regular scope base. And so you would take these screws out and you slide the scope across the top of this rail, and then you throw these screws in there and tighten them down, and you're clamping the scope to the top of this mount. So this is an outdated piece of equipment. Bushnell doesn't make this anymore. They don't make the Phantom scopes anymore. They were decent scopes. The mounts were pretty good mounts. They locked down just as good as anything else. But this is kind of a no-go for a lot of different people. I don't know a lot of people that are going to want to willingly drill a hole in their Colt's frame. So like in the previous video, the Weaver number 303 would be a better alternative to this. Now, having said that, if you're using a different scope base, you're not going to be able to use the Bushnell Phantom scope, because that scope has that rib on the bottom, and that rib isn't going to let it fit through a normal ring because it's got this honking rib on there. I actually have a scope coming in soon. When I get one, I'll do a video on it as well. So if you were going to use a Bushnell Phantom scope, you had to use the Bushnell Phantom mount. You can't use a different mount. And if you have a different mount, you can't use the Bushnell Phantom scope. You'll have to get a different scope. So just thought I'd show it to you. It's kind of an old, outdated piece of equipment. Don't see a whole heck of a lot of them out there. This one I picked up off of eBay. It looks like it's never been used. And I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to drill a hole in my Colt. I bought this without realizing this is what was going on. And that's why I bought the Weaver. What this comes with is the mount, and it comes with two different Allen wrenches. because you have the small Allen wrench for your set screws on the bottom, and you have your bigger one for these bigger screws that hold the scope, and you'll need a flathead for the 2 screws that go into the frame, and that's all you need. A little bit of Loctite is provided, just in like a little tube that they kind of singe the ends shut. And then this is the original paperwork that comes with it. Model part numbers and firearm models that these part numbers fit. And then on the inside, you have mounting instructions for the different models. And on the back, it talks about some other parts and what's going on. So, just thought I would show that to you. Something you don't see every day. The Bushnell Phantom scope mount.